say 1 is the principal diagonal, and say this is 2, 3, right? And this is say 2, 3, right? Okay? Sorry. Yeah, so, and say this becomes 3, 2, or say you have this, and so basically if you have this element and this element the same, this element and this element the same, right? This element and this element the same, then you have a symmetric matrix. Yes, the elements of diagonals must be the same. First row, second column is the same as the second row, first column. First row, third column is the same as the third row, first column. 12th row, 15th column must be the same as the 15th row, 12th column. Right? This matrices are called symmetric matrices. So please remember, therefore, that x dash x is also always a symmetric matrix. Yeah? Because you see that this and this are the same. Right? Now, can you recognize these elements really? What is this? Think of again subtracting the mean from everything. Then this is nothing but the denominator of the variance of x1. This is nothing but the denominator of the variance of x2. And these are the denominators of the covariance between x and y. Right? So if I multiply from n outside, I can replace each by variance of x1, variance of x2, and covariance x1, x2. Assuming I have subtracted the mean from all these elements. Right? I have subtracted the mean value from all these elements. Right? In fact, that's what I am doing when I am not putting an alpha. That's what I am actually doing when I am not putting an alpha. Because if I don't put an alpha, I have a model yi is equal to alpha plus beta x1I ei, right? So if I average out on this side, it will be y bar. Alpha ka average will be alpha, right? Plus beta 1, average of x1 bar, plus beta 2 x2 bar, the average of E will be 0. So, if I were to now subtract this quantity y bar from yi, what will I get? I will get, okay, so I think now I can write this off, I don't need more, right? So if I subtracted this, then I will get yi minus y bar, alpha minus alpha will go, I will get, yeah, right, plus the EI from the original equation will remain. So actually when I have a model without an intercept, you can very well think of these quantities as nothing but deviations from the mean. Yeah? And if I think of the deviations from the mean, then these actually if I divide this by n, this will become the variance. If I divide this by n, this will become the covariance. Sure? Is this absolutely clear to everybody? Okay. Now, so this is x dash x. This is my x dash x. Okay. So x dash x is this. Now I am looking for x dash x inverse. Okay. Now if I want to find x dash x inverse, if x dash x inverse, what do I require x dash? When does x dash x inverse exist? When does a matrix exist? When the determinant of that matrix is not 0. Right? So first let me calculate the determinant of that matrix. What is the determinant of that matrix? It is summation x1I square, this into this minus this into this. Right? Okay? Into summation x2I square minus see this point, friends? Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you an important question. If now I divide this by n square, what do I get? If I were to divide this by n square, I will get the following. If I divide this by n square, I'll get this. If I divide this by n square, I'll get this. Right? Sure? So now, tell me one thing. What is this? These are all divided from the mean, or subtracted from the mean. So what is this? Variance of x1. Right? So sigma square x1. What is this? And what is this? Covariance of x1 and x2. Right? So the determinant of x dash x has something to do with the covariance sigma 1 square x1, sigma 2 square x minus covariance x1, x2. Right? Okay? Sure? Okay. Now, when will the determinant be 0? So suppose think of a situation where x dash x inverse does not exist. Okay. When will the determinant be 0? When the covariance, when this whole expression is equal to 0. We are coming to a beautiful point. Okay? So this is equal to 0. Right? Okay? This is equal to 0. Right? Sigma square x into sigma square x minus covariance x1, x2 is equal to 0. What does that mean? That would mean yeah? Right? Now, all of you guys know, can I write this out for a minute? Yes. All of you guys know that correlation x1, x2, okay, is equal to covariance x1, x2 upon the standard deviation of x1, standard deviation of x2. Right? Sure? So, if I square this, yeah? Okay, so can you now tell me what is he saying? So suppose think of x1 and x2 being perfectly correlated. Suppose x1 and x2 are perfectly correlated, right? x1 and x2 are perfectly correlated. Then what will become the correlation x1 x2? 1. So this number will be equal to 1. Right? Okay? So what will you have? Sigma x1, sigma x2 is covariance x1, x2. Right? Or if I square this, it would be sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square is covariance x1, x2 square. Right? Covariance x1, x2 square. So sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square, right? Okay, if that is correlation is 1, it would be covariance. So basically, if I, so I will get this equation, right? Okay? So what is it effectively meaning? It's effectively meaning that, so what is it trying to tell us? It says when the determinant of this is 0. Suppose the correlation between x1 and x2 is 1. Okay, suppose the correlation between x2 and x1 and x2 is 1. Okay, suppose the correlation between x1 and x2 is 1. So you will get sigma x1 into sigma x2 is equal to covariance x1 x2, right? Or what you will get is this is covariance square actually, because you see what we have done is this into this. No, this will be covariance square, right? This actually has to be square. This is the point because these two are multiplied. See, look at it carefully. So keeping this in mind, what is x dash x? Right? So determine this into this minus this into this. So it is actually equal to so this is sigma x1 square, sigma x2 square, You see the point? Sure? So if both of them are the same, right? Okay, so if the determinant is 0, what does it mean? If this quantity is 0, it means that covariance x1, x2 square, or divided by both sides. But this is what? This is nothing but the square of the correlation between x1 and x2. So if you write the correlation coefficient at r, this is nothing but r square is equal to 1, right? So it says x1 and x2 are perfectly correlated. If x1 and x2 are perfectly correlated, then x dash x inverse will not exist and you will not be able to find beta. What does that mean? Can somebody tell the meaning of, say what it means more intuitively? What does it mean in more intuitive terms? What is it saying? Why can't you find beta if x1 and x2 are perfectly correlated? So suppose y is your marks, x1 is your attendance, and x2 is the marks you scored in your B. It says that I can't find beta 1 and beta 2 if your attendance and marks you scored in your BA are perfectly correlated. Why can I not find them? Any guesses, folks?
So because x1 and x2 are related, that means
related or perfectly correlated?
Perfectly correlated, then that means the marks.
Yeah, go on.
That means the marks of the degree as in BA and the attendance are also like they are dependent on each other. So that would affect the value of y.
Yeah, any ideas? He's right, but we need to sort of make it more concrete. All of you have know what it is, but just to put it into more formal, exact words. See, all these things are like a legal document, you know. All of us know what the law is, but unless you put it down very precisely, it doesn't become a legal document. Yes, you become lawyers when you learn to make ordinary common sense into really watertight sentences. That's what we're doing here. So, yeah, you're also right. See, the more formal, all of you are right, but the formal way to put it is to say that, okay, that what is yi? Yeah? Now what is beta 1? Beta 1 is nothing but, yeah? It is the partial derivative of y with respect to x1. What do you mean by the partial derivative of y with respect to x1? It is how much y changes if you change x1 slightly, keeping x2 constant. Similarly, what is beta 2? Partial derivative of y with respect to x2. So it is how much y changes if x2 changes by 1 unit, keeping x1 constant. Right? Now, if x1 and x2 are perfectly correlated, can you ever carry this exercise out? Can you ever vary x1 by keeping x2 constant? If they are not perfectly correlated, you can find 1 or 2 cases where you can do that. But if they are perfectly correlated, then you can never vary x1 by keeping x2 constant. Similarly, you can never logically vary x2 by keeping x1 constant. You see the point? And therefore, if you vary, so basically therefore you cannot find beta 1 and beta 2. So what is this saying is, you don't have enough information in your data to find separate values of beta 1 and beta 2. So in effect, what the determinant of x dash x measures is the amount of information that you have in the data to be able to find the parameters beta 1 and beta 2. When they are perfectly correlated, it says you have zero information to find beta 1 and beta 2 separately. Okay?
So,
Yeah.
so can you repeat this?
Yeah. So determinant of x dash x. See, basically, when they are perfect, the determinant is zero when they are perfectly correlated. What do you mean by x1, x2 being perfectly correlated? When x1 moves, x2 always moves. So you cannot find a value which is the change in y when you change x1 keeping x2 constant. Right? Because in this equation, what are you looking for? For everybody, for a group of students who have the same marks at their BA, you want to vary their attendance and see how their BA, how their semester end examination changes, results change. But if you don't have any data point like that, so whenever you vary your students' attendance, you also have to, their marks also keep on changing, then you can never find the impact of attendance on marks keeping the BA marks constant. Because you don't have that information in the data. You don't have such cases. Because students' marks and their attendance are perfectly correlated. So, their marks in the BA and their attendance in the class is perfectly correlated. So, you really, what would you do? You want to find the impact of the students' attendance on the MA semester marks, keeping their BA marks constant. So, you say, let me take all the students who have got 60% marks in BA, then let me vary their attendance and see how much their MA marks change. Then let me take all students who have got 70% marks in BA, then let me vary their attendance and see how their MA marks change. For which you require to have data points where you can vary students' marks, students' attendance, but their BA marks remain the same. That the BA marks and the students' attendance are perfectly correlated, you will never have even one student like this to be able to answer this question. Right? Which will happen if the marks and the attendance are perfectly correlated. The BA marks and the attendance are perfectly, the two experimental variables are perfectly correlated. Which will mean that you don't have any information in the data to calculate beta 1 and beta 2 separately. Is this clear? So the determinant of x dash x therefore tells you how much information there is in this data. Okay? Determinant of x dash x tells you how much information. In fact friends, even if you have a simple linear regression where just there is one explanative variable, then how do you find beta hat? Beta hat case Yeah? Beta hat is covariance of xy upon the variance of x. Right? Okay. In which case, when will the beta hat not exist? When variance of x is 0. What do you mean by the variance of x being 0? When would you say the variance of x is 0? When is the variance of a set of numbers 0? Where all the numbers are the same. So it says you cannot find beta because beta tells you how much y changes if x changes by 1 unit, because your x does not change at all your x's are the same. So given the data point that you have, I do not have any information in the data. And if you write the linear regression model, so if I yi is equal to beta xi plus ei, right? My y matrix is in fact y1, y2, y3, say y4, y5. Okay? Writing it in the matrix format, I have x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, say some 5 observations. Beta plus E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, right? So what will be x dash y? X dash y will be, in this simple case also, let's see what happens. X dash y will be what? x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 into y. So x1 into y1 plus x2 into y2 plus x3 into y3 plus x4 into y4 and so on, which is summation xi yi. Right? Okay. What is x dash x? X dash x will be x dash x. x1 into x1 plus x2 into x2. So x dash x will be summation xi square. Right? So x dash y into x dash x inverse 1 upon x dash x will be beta. So what will beta be? Beta will be summation xi yi upon summation xi square. Right? Okay. Now, in fact, when I am writing a model like this, when I am writing yi, so think of yi is equal to alpha plus beta xi plus ei. What will be y bar? Alpha plus beta x bar. So if I subtract from this side, what do I get? Yeah? If I subtract the two equations, this is what I get. So in fact, this equation that I've got, yi is equal to beta xi plus ei, is nothing but these can be interpreted in terms of xi minus x bar, yi minus y bar. In which case, what we get is covariance beta, covariance xy upon the variance of x. X dash x inverse x dash y, right? Where x dash x inverse is nothing but the variance of x. Right? If x dash x inverse is 0, there is no variance in x. So I have no information in the data. I just don't have enough information in the data. Right? So what does this tell you? When will you maximize information in x? So if you are designing a regression model where yi is your explanatory variable and xi are your say, x1, x2 are your independent variables. You have to design a survey. Right? So for example, yi could be a child's educational attainment and x1 could be the father's educational attainment. So you've got children who are doing well in school. You have to find out how well children do in school depends on how educated their parents are. So your yi could be a child say marks in the 5th standard or say some say 5th standard examination. x1 could be the father's educational level and x2 could be the mother's educational level. Tell me what are the potential problems in this regression. So we are designing this regression. Suppose you have to now conduct some survey. You have to find out data. What kind of observations will you look for? What kind of problems do you foresee from what I have just told you?
So all the students are in 5th standard. So all the x's are the same.
No, but their marks could be different. No?
You might observe relationship between father's education and mother's
Perfect.
education.
So if what the red herring in this will be, if the father's and mother's education are perfectly correlated, right? So highly educated fathers are only marrying highly educated mothers, and less educated women are only marrying less educated men, then you might actually get a strong correlation between the X1 and X2 variable. Which means that the information that you will have in your data might not be zero, but because they might not be perfectly correlated, they're highly correlated, you will have relatively less information in your data, right, to be able to get beta 1 and beta 2. So when you're designing your survey, it is important that you collect your information in such a way that, so if you're doing this survey, what will you do? You will actually go to households, right? If you select households randomly, even then you might have this problem, but if you don't select them randomly, then you might actually, this problem might actually become worse, right? If you're only surveying doctors, for example, right, then doctors generally marry doctors, right? So you generally find much stronger correlation. So if you actually design your surveys badly, your information in the data might be too poor. So it's important when you are designing a survey, when you think about the explanatory variables are, it's always very important to make sure that the explanatory variables have as little correlation among themselves as possible, but as much variation within themselves. So for example, if all the fathers have the same level of education, you'll never be able to answer the question. So the variation among fathers must be as much as it can be. Variation among mothers must be as much as it can be, but the correlation between fathers and mothers' education must be as low as it can be. Right? Only then. So the important idea, it's a very, very important idea, you must always remember that the determinant x dash x tells you how much information there is in your data.